Those are two iMacs MacBook Pro 13-inch. The one on the right is an i7 and on the one on the left is an i5. The one on the right is badly damaged and the touchpad actually popped out completely and is basically you can't repair the touchpad anymore. The one on the left has very bad damage on the LCD. The glass is actually broken and some pieces are chipped off, and they actually had to glue it together with tape to keep it going. Both have an SSD installed inside, so I'm going to try to recover the i7 motherboard and the LCD and then try to transplant the touchpad from the i5 into the i7 enclosure. So all what you're going to need is a bunch of basically screwdrivers, and you know, people call them watchmaker screwdrivers. They come in different sizes. You might need a few tweezers, and at the end you might need a few other torque screwdrivers basically. And before you do so, you can always find it on the internet, the maintenance manual for the MacBook Pro, the 13-inch. I will also post you the link where you can download it, so just in case you want to try it. So now let me get on with it. So I downloaded the MacBook Pro maintenance manual, and that's what we will have a look at now. And let's look at the take apart part. And as you can see, you can find all the different steps on how to open up the back. So the trackpad is right there, and it even describes basically the tools you're going to need to take care of it. So this is the kind of screwdrivers you're going to need: a cross Phillips 00 and a T6 torque, and then some other tools, a black stick and sticky post-it notes to put in between, things like that. So it's not that hard. It then actually tells you how to remove it, and then you just do it the other way around to replace it basically. And it tells you with all kind of letters and sequences on how to do it. Very simple. So let's get on and do it. You've got your optical drive, your SSD, the battery and the memory, and then the motherboard. The battery looks a bit weird to me. It looks like the battery actually exploded. So the first thing is we now need to disconnect. So we disconnected the battery now, and now I should be able to lift out the battery basically. As you can see, the damage to the touchpad is actually an exploded battery on a Mac. Look at this battery, what happened with it? It just flipped open basically, and it pushed the key path outside its enclosure. I've never seen that before. Anyway, this is what it is. So the battery kind of exploded and it pushed out the keypad. Alright, so I guess this battery is throw away. There's not much more I can do with this. Very interesting. Alright. They must have had quite some force to push it out like that. First thing to do is to disconnect the trackpad cable, which is this one right here, which is going to the basic motherboard. There you go. So the next step to do is to remove the Phillips screws from the fixture, and those are all around here. So I need to remove those first. And here is the keypad, touchpad, right? So we got it removed, very badly damaged. So here I have the i7 MacBook Pro, where I removed the touchpad, with the one that was actually totally cracked, as you can see, caused by a battery which was inside, which is basically expanded or exploded, and it pushed basically the touchpad out of its enclosure. On the right I have the i5, the one with the cracked screen, and for the rest that one looked pretty good. So I will remove the battery from this one, remove the touchpad, and mount it back in the i7 chassis, and then let's hope we can actually crank it up. So let me now remove the battery of the still functional MacBook Pro. And you need to squeeze off gently. So. And you can see the difference in battery between the exploded one and a good working one. It's quite remarkable, especially this side. Right? You can see the difference. So now the next step to do is to remove the touchpad on the working one, and then we mount it back in the other chassis. So we undid all the little screws. I removed the connector gently from the motherboard, and now we can pull out the touchpad. And here it is, an intact touchpad, which I now can recover for the i7. If you look on the touchpad from the broken one, it's quite a difference. So I'm gonna put this guy aside and then move on to the other one. Putting those tiny little screws in is really difficult to do. And I found that you have to be very, very gentle. That's one. Now we need to do the second one. And they are so small. Okay, that's one. Now we do the second one. Really patient. And now we're going to put the battery back in. Like so. I will wait. First I will connect the nice little touchpad connector. There we go. Now we connect the battery connector. Now we connect the battery. There we go. The last thing to do is to hold down the battery so she doesn't flip out. And let's see what this baby tells us. So here's the trackpad, nicely fitted into the i7. It came from the i5, and now let's see if it's going to boot up and if it's working. Let's cross our fingers. So we have the power hooked up, and let's boot it up. Well, the screen changed color. That's normally a good sign. There we go. Look at that. So now let's see if the mouse is working or the touchpad is working. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. So it's nicely going around. And let's see. Clicking works as well. Wi-Fi seems to work as well. The i7 is working like a champ, and on the right hand side we have the battery that actually caused the touchpad to crack and to be destroyed in the i7. So now the i7 has the touchpad from the i5 MacBook Pro and the battery from the MacBook Pro. And it's working like a champ, and we have a working MacBook again for Scarlett, and I will return the SSD that we recovered back to the previous owner.